our Dean and also Vice Dean of Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, Dr. Insinyur Damanhuri MS, and also Dr. Sujarwo SPMP. And also it's really honestly an honorable for me to also welcome the keynote speakers for today, Professor Rogier Schulte, and also Dr. Jeroen Groot and Mr. Kess van Veluw. And I also want to greet for all farming system ecology members, global network Lighthouse farmers members, and also lecturer staff, students from Wageningen University of Research, and also Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, as well as all the participants in today's international seminar. So the seminar will bring together academia, researcher, farmers, and also experts to share knowledge and also remarkable global experiences in implementing complex rice systems. And it also provides you with a great opportunity to enrich you with experiences from the global network like host farm members to frame the methodologies for the complex rice systems, transformations into the rice landscape. Excellencies, participants, and also ladies and gentlemen, today there are several agendas for today's seminars. So let me to read the agenda as follows. For the first one, we will have the dear opening speech, and then we come to the presentation and discussion sessions that will be led by our moderator today. And then after that, we will have the break for 10 minutes. And after the break, we will see the documentations of the complex rice farming systems. And before the closing, we will have the award ceremony. Well, to take the advantage of time, let's start our first agenda. So for the first agenda, we will listen to the opening speech by our Dean of Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, Dr. Insinyur Damanhuri MS. So please welcome Mr. Damanhuri, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, on behalf of the Faculty of Agriculture, I would like to welcome you to Indonesian Lighthouse Open Day that was started with on-farm workshop this morning and is continued with online seminar this afternoon Indonesian time. This event is organized in collaboration between the Global Network Lighthouse Farm, GNLF, Farming System Ecology, Wageningen University and Research, WUR, and the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, FPUB. We hope from this collaboration, lighthouse farmers give inspirations, examples, and motivations to us here. Therefore, this will be an outstanding opportunity for us to learn from and other and strengthen our cooperation and network. This seminar session will focus on learning from GNLF members to frame methodologies for the complex rice farming system, CSR, transformation into the rice landscape. We will listen to the presentation of GNLF documentary and discussion with Professor Rogier, Dr. Engineer Jeroen Groot, Mr. Kess van Veluw, and GNLF members. Finally, the three best CSR design 2021 by farmers will be announced in award ceremony session as an appreciation to farmers. This seminar will surely enrich you with a lot of knowledge about the farming system transformations, especially in East Java, Indonesia. Finally, I sincerely hope that this collaboration may be developed and continuously bring many benefits for all the parties involved. Thank you for your kind attention. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Daman, for the speech. Now let's step up to the main agenda today. So we will have the presentation and also discussion session from our keynote speakers. And for the informations that actually this online seminar is continuations of the off-farm workshop that have been held this morning with around 50 farmers and also stakeholders. So to step to the main agenda today, so I will invite the moderator for today, our honorable moderator for today, Mr. Kess van Veluw. I hope that I pronounced it right, sir.
It's okay. Thank you very much for your introduction.
Before we go to the presentations, I will give you a brief explanation, information about our moderator today. So, Mr. Kess van Veluw is the member of the Farming System Ecology of Wageningen University and Research. His expertises are in animal productions, organic farming, and also agriculture extensions. Okay, so to take the advantage of time, so I will give the opportunity to our moderator today. Mr. Kess van Veluw, time is yours.
Okay, thank you all for joining this nice session. I think before we start to watch the documentary on the complex rice system in Indonesia, I think it's still necessary to give Professor Schulte maybe a short introduction note. Or are we going immediately to watch the video?
Thank you, Kess. And we have the video ready indeed, but let me just quickly say a good evening to everyone in Indonesia, and good afternoon and good morning to some of our lighthouse farmers who have joined us from around the world in different continents. The Indonesian complex rice systems and the University of Brawijaya are founding members of the global network of lighthouse farms. And actually the original plan, we came together in Wageningen 2.5 years ago, and our next get together would have been in Indonesia last year, but of course we all know what happened and we were not allowed to travel. But the global pandemic also has given us this opportunity to link remotely. We've all learned to get together without physical travel, and it's a pleasure. We would have loved to have been there today, but instead it is a pleasure to link to you remotely today. What we will do now is we have created, with your input and with the input of all the lighthouse farmers, we've created a video of the Lighthouse Farm Network, edited by our master producer, Lizzie Fried, who's here online as well. And we will share this with you now, and then we will be available for questions and answers. And if that's okay, Kess, are we good to share the video?
Yes, let's start.
Shall I share it from my computer and see if that
it's
works?
Okay.
Let me.
Today's food system is complicated. As farmers, as consumers, as researchers, we're constantly being pulled in all sorts of different directions. Should I be choosing the product with the lowest carbon footprint? Or should I be choosing the product that has been produced locally? Is this farm here any more or less sustainable than its neighbor? What about organic? Is it better for the environment? Or should I be choosing for a vegan diet? Or will that make matters worse? Should we simply reduce our meat intake? I'm Roger Schulte, and I'm chairholder of the Farming Systems Ecology Group at Wageningen University and Research. In our team, we find ourselves exactly at the crossroads of all these challenges. What is sustainable agriculture? What is climate smart or regenerative, nature inclusive? Do they exclude each other, or can they go hand in hand? With our team, we're trying to navigate this hugely complex landscape. And in doing so, we've come across two main challenges that we're facing as a globe. The first challenge is well known. The world's population is growing and will continue to do so for quite a while yet. By 2050, we will have over 11 billion people to feed every day. And at the same time, we need to do this while staying within our planetary boundaries. We have to grow food for 11 billion people without eating into the resources that our planet can provide. And we're already breaching some of our planetary boundaries. We're using too much nitrogen, we're losing biodiversity at an alarming rate, and greenhouse gas emissions are continuing to rise despite the global action.
And in the middle of all this activity, that's where we find the farmers, real people who work and live in the real world.
This very challenge manifests itself in a diversity of ways. Each farm operates on its own soil type, in its own climate, with its own farming system, in its own unique culture. That makes every farmer unique and makes every challenge unique. And that makes one thing abundantly clear. We cannot solve these sustainability challenges with just one single solution.
I think that's why we decided to call this network the Global Network of Lighthouse Farms, because a lighthouse is a guiding light that helps travelers who are lost at sea. And likewise, each of our farmers redefine a different element of sustainability and help guide us towards a better sustainable global food system. Through their focus on education and research, harnessing complexity, radical redesign, and unique governance and collaboration systems, these farms are already operating in the future that we want. And as such, they can really be a guiding light for a lot of other farmers around the world. So let's explore these elements through real-life examples that we find on our lighthouse farms. How do they, in drastically different contexts, pave this way towards a more sustainable future? First of all, they've thought radically outside of the box, redesigning systems to be more resilient, complex, and creative.
Hello everyone and welcome to our family-owned farm ZDE. We are family-owned and run the agricultural business here in Latvia. The basic motto for us is that nothing is left over, everything can be used and produced once again.
The Pilvere family in Latvia have redefined what we think of when we say circular agriculture. When we arrive on their farm, the first thing we see is 2,000 dairy cows that are milked daily. However, the milk is the byproduct from their operation. The main product from these cows is their manure. They feed manure into 6 giant anaerobic digesters together with all the other farm losses, and those digesters create enough bioenergy, biogas, to power 2 enormous generators, and those generators feed green electricity into the national grid. However, that green energy is the byproduct from those generators. The main product from the generators is their heat. And what do they do with the heat? With that, they heat dozens of fish tanks that are filled with eel and sturgeon, and thanks to the heat they can finish this fish in 2 years instead of 5. And from that they get 8.5 kilograms of fish meat per fish. But that is the byproduct. The main product is that last kilogram, caviar. That is the valuable product that is produced from this farm. So what we're looking at is a caviar farm powered by dairy cows. Now, I'm a little facetious because, of course, if we look at the nutrient flows, this is a dairy farm that also produces a little bit of energy and fish on the side. If we look at energy flows, a power station that also produces food. And that's how it changed the way we think about circular agriculture. It is not just about making value out of manure, it's about closing loops of nutrients, of biomass, of energy, and ultimately of value.
We have worked to create a local circular economy. This is more than a farm, it's an entire community. We aim to be a net exporter of not only food but also of energy. We have created a platform within our rural community for a number of different activities and actions. We grow cereals, oilseed and protein crops. Our cereals are partly used for making our own granola, oat flakes and other meal products. Feed cereals are used in neighbor's hennery. Another neighbor farm produce organic vegetables and honey. Rotational clover grasses are harvested and used for biogas production, together with horse and chicken manure. After energy production, nutrients are returned back to food production in the form of digestate. Then the community benefits from this to being able to buy local fuel from the station located on our farm. We also have a restaurant and farm store on our farm. Farmers market offer a place for the local farming community to share their produce. Markets are also important social events in the village. We also provide spaces for artists and culture. There is even a theater every summer on our old barn. Our farming, food and energy production are part of the local community, but local community is also part of our farm.
While each farm has to redesign sustainability in its own way, we as scientists are learning the common ingredients to future successes in creating sustainable systems. Each of our farms have in some way harnessed the power of complexity.
Through harnessing complexity, our farms have shown us what is possible. They've found that diverse systems, which are seemingly out of reach for many farmers, are not only possible, but that they oftentimes make them more resilient against climate change and economic shifts.
Hi, this is Uma from Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, Indonesia. UB is a member of the Global Lighthouse Farm Network, and this network is a great path for us to learn from all members. Even though we are all in different parts of the world, I've been inspired by them and the way that they harness complexity in their systems.
Together with farmers in Indonesia, we develop complex rice systems that combine azolla, fish, ducks, or border plants into rice systems. We started with an on-farm field experiment and currently trying to put CRS at the landscape scale. With landscape approach, we are building collective management to strengthen commitment among stakeholders. For example, through exchange between rice farmers and duck farmers.
Brazil, in general, has a very high amount of biodiversity, especially in the Atlantic rainforests. Unfortunately, most of the Atlantic rainforests has disappeared through the ages. Only about 15% is left, and all of it is fragmented into many smaller pieces.
Olá, eu sou Ana Clara, trabalho na área de pesquisa da Rizoma Agro. Queria contar um pouco para vocês sobre a estratégia que a gente usou para compor os desenhos que a gente faz aqui dentro da Rizoma. Principalmente na área de produção de sistemas agroflorestais, a gente tenta trazer a inteligência da natureza para junto com a gente e a gente cria sistemas que são complexos, mas com a biodiversidade funcional prevalecendo. Ou seja, a gente integra a inteligência e integra toda a natureza com a gente, escolhendo componentes arbóreos, componentes de frutas, cultivos anuais, mas a gente tenta simplificar na medida possível para a gente continuar regenerando, mas para conseguir a escala para ampliar e conseguir regenerar cada vez mais áreas no Brasil.
I'm a researcher at Rizoma Agro. I've been here for almost a year now, doing research in different fields, looking at direct seeding system, looking at different types of fertilizers, especially compost, liquid fertilizers too, vermicompost tea in this case. I am here on Fazenda HAAWK. It is situated in the southeast of Brazil, in the state of São Paulo. Here on this farm we produce mainly maize and soybean, and we had a trial of silver pasture system where we tried 4 different systems. This is where we are standing now.
Sou Eduardo, coordenador de produção de grãos aqui na Rizoma Agro, aqui na Fazenda HAAWK. Aqui é um polo de produção de grãos orgânicos. E como a mão de obra é mais cara por não podemos usar herbicida, mas a gente tem um prêmio nas vendas e isso se torna um negócio mais rentável.
Sou Fabrício Martins, sou gerente agrícola da Rizoma Agro. Estamos aqui na Fazenda HAAWK, no sul do estado de São Paulo, onde a gente já vem há alguns anos, começamos a produção orgânica e vemos desenvolvendo alguns protocolos. Com isso a gente vem aprendendo que é cada vez mais importante a gente conhecer e adquirir experiência do que está acontecendo no campo e para a gente conseguir levar isso para larga escala e conseguir regenerar mais áreas no planeta.
The unique governance models that are exemplified in the network illustrate how collaboration can propel good ideas. Resources are used more efficiently and positive change can happen faster.
This is Serge speaking from GIZ Ethiopia. I will take you through HAAWK catchment. The catchment is located in Tigray, northern Ethiopia. And then HAAWK, the Woreda district, is found 70 kilometers from Mekele, the capital city of Tigray. So the catchment is characterized by rugged topography, undulating landscape, and of course there are also valleys where the communities produce crop and grasses for their livestock. And then HAAWK, Desa forest is one of the remaining forests in the region, which is found in the HAAWK catchment. And then over the last decades, the catchment farming in the catchment was challenged by land degradation, both because of man-made and natural factors. And the forests were cleared because of intensive biomass use for household energy, and also open livestock grazing and cutting trees. This all, coupled with torrential rain coming from the mountain, was destroying the farm fields, and a lot of gullies and sheet erosion was significantly declining the soil fertility in the area. So farmers could not produce enough to feed their family. So realizing this challenge, the community, with support from the agricultural extension of the district, started to organize themselves in community-based organizations. They call them watershed management teams. And this team mobilized the community labor and resources, local resources, and also liaison in terms of mobilizing financial resource from development partners and also the district. So with all this effort, the community managed to restore part of the catchment area through soil water conservation, reforestation, and also installing proper management and use of the grass, forest, and water resources in the area. So the community-based organization was serving this purpose in terms of creating understanding, in terms of mobilizing human resources, labor, and also ensuring equitable use of the resources among the community groups. So with this, over the last 10 years, the community has managed to produce better crop because of stabilized catchment area, and also better forage biomass for their livestock in the enclosures and protected areas. So this is a big achievement and success, which is now serving also as a model to the region and even also to the country.
In 2016, about 20 women farmers from the village of Tangkamatam Liktam in East Sikkim, India, came together to form two community-based self-help groups to improve the livelihoods through traditional farming. The women had found that their agricultural systems were economically and nutritionally unviable. They focused too much on monocultures of maize and rice. And the cropping intensity was low, productivity was low, and as a consequence, they needed to improve. And they wanted to collaborate with scientific technology support. And that is particularly important in the fragile ecosystem of East Sikkim. These groups of motivated women, they wanted to improve their practices and wanted to base that on scientific knowledge. They started to collaborate with multiple actors in their surroundings. They worked with the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, the local government of Gangtok, with the KVK, which is the Agricultural Extension Service in India, and also with the Sikkim State Rural Livelihood Mission. These collaborations ultimately proved successful. Researchers began to work with the local groups and found the appropriate technologies that were suitable for the mountainous agroecologies that were present. This also led to farm demonstrations and adoption of, for instance, no-till practices and cultivation of pea in maize, rice, fallow. This resulted in additional income in the winter season, also a higher rate of employment, and a cropping intensity that increased from 120 to 200%. The unique governance structures of these groups, including community-based leadership, as well as collaboration with the governmental organizations, has resulted in adoption of new agricultural practices and technologies in an area that was previously economically challenged. The progress has been encouraging for all the stakeholders, and the efforts have been made now for horizontal expansion of the successful technologies in the fields of other farmers for sustainable production and the generation of income opportunities. The agricultural system has shifted and includes more vegetables nowadays, and also the importance of high-value crops has increased. These crops are being protected by integrated pest management practices, and irrigation water is being used from the rainwater harvesting facilities. Livestock production has improved, and the manure of the livestock is being used for composting. A lot of the labor is being done manually, but the use of two-wheeled tractors is increasing. Together, the governance structure and collaborations have resulted in many improvements in all aspects of farming. This has led to introduction of viable organic farming in the villages where the self-help groups are active.
The global network of Lighthouse Farms creates a real-life global outdoor classroom and laboratory that facilitates collaboration, learning, and inspiration. The network brings together farmers, students, researchers, and other important actors to co-create a research agenda and jointly implement it, so that together we can find answers to pressing sustainability challenges.
Our network's farms have a strong focus on education and research, which helps to scale these systems to the rest of the world.
My name is Rogier and I work for the Dutch lighthouse farm, Erf. Our farm is an organic farm in the center of the Netherlands, close to the city of Almere. We grow 18 different crops on 1,500 hectares. On this field, close to the city of Almere, we are testing large-scale strip cropping. In this field, we grow 8 different crops in small strips of 6 meters in order to realize a stable crop production. In this field, we grow fava bean, celeriac, parsnip, grass clover, onions, potato and oats. In close collaboration with Wageningen University, we monitor strip cropping on 3 aspects. First, we monitor the effect on productivity and efficiency. Second, we monitor the effect on pests and diseases. And third, we monitor the effect on biodiversity. In 2015, we started with the first experiment, and in 2017, we started with this large-scale strip cropping field. The results are really promising. We are able to achieve the same yield as we do in the monoculture. We see less vulnerability on pests and diseases. For instance, our potatoes are less vulnerable for potato late blight, and we see an increase on biodiversity.
Hello and welcome. My name is Alfred Grant. I am an organic farmer and entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, we are producing organic fertilizer with the help of earthworms. As a farmer, together with my family and a young motivated team, we have a research and demonstration farm. We are based in Absdorf in Austria, in the heart of Europe. Our main topics on the farm are soil health, which is the foundation for every farmer, agroforestry, which is bringing back trees and bushes on arable land, and market gardening.
Here at Grant Farm for Research and Demonstration, we are welcoming master students and researchers from the Global Lighthouse Farming Network. We love that experience that we have with the students, with young people, to recognize their perspective and to see their answer, to hear their answers to our practical challenges that we face on the farm. We train them on practical work, but also on solving issues, solving challenges that we experience here on the farm. Together, we are cooperating on a multi-stakeholder level, and we are learning from each other, and we are having a lot of fun.
At its core in DAWK is we decided at the early stage in 2014 to create robust digital baselines of our natural capital, of our trees, our hedges, and then of our soils subsequently. So we could baseline our carbon stock, and every 5 years we go back, and we're now starting to remeasure that and to see how has our management practices changed the actual amount of carbon stock. Because we believe very passionately the right type of ruminant agriculture can actually deliver net zero. Ruminants do something that humans can't do. They take poor quality roughage called grass and they turn it into highly nutritious meat and milk. And so we sat about not only looking at how to get better performance from our animals, but better performance from the landscape around the animals. Because as farmers, we just don't farm animals. We farm all our assets, to which soil, hedges, trees, water are all part of. To reach the vision of net zero for our beef and lamb production at the lands of DAWK, we've joined forces through our relationship in the global network of lighthouse farms with Wageningen University in Research and University College Dublin. So this project that we secured from Marie Curie is called Heartland, and for us it's at the core of our research at the lands of DAWK. And we're investigating the benefit of adding in a complexity around looking at sward diversities to feed the animals. So we're looking at bringing in multi-species swards. So not just grasses, but bringing legumes and herbs. And what we're looking to see is the benefit to our soils, the benefit to the productivity and diversity of our swards, and the performance of the animals, and whether by giving them a more diverse feed, they actually produce more nutritionally dense and diverse food to improve human health, as well as that environmental health simultaneously. We're very fortunate we have 5 PhD students working on this, and already we're well into our 2nd year, where we have been able to see an increase in productivity of the sward by over 20%, an improvement in live weight gain, a reduction of nitrogen use of 60%, and a 400-fold increase in earthworm population under the diversity of the multi-species swards compared to the industry normal of a monoculture of ryegrass.
We're here in La Jonquera in the south of Spain, and we do regenerative organic farming. So what does that mean? For us, that means that we're trying to improve the soil quality, biodiversity, the water uptake by the soil. We're constantly making ponds, swales, we're making hedges and borders, we're making a place for bees and other pollinators to live. So there's many things that we do to improve all these things. This is an ongoing process, so it's not something that maybe will ever be done, but we really enjoy this transition. It's a very dry Mediterranean area with around 350 liters of rain a year, which is very little, and at very high altitude, which makes it very extreme. So we have a lot of cold, but we also have very hot summers. When it rains torrential, so a lot at once. And yeah, we have, for example, frost almost from September until May. So that makes it also very difficult to grow things here. What we do grow is almonds. They grow very well. We have pistachios, aromatics, apples. We also have started with a vegetable garden. That's more for our own purpose. And we have cows, 19 at the moment, but growing in amount. We also have 6 horses. There are sheep on our farm. They're not ours, but they walk around. They're from someone else, and he lets them graze here. We're also organic. So besides being regenerative, we're also organic. And we try to also include livestock in everything that we do. And we have the Regeneration Academy, which is a very important part of our farm life. So with the Regeneration Academy, we host students, entrepreneurs. We also have events and activities for the youth. The students mainly do research, so we have a program that facilitates research on the farm, besides learning a lot about farm life. And these students, they help us to transition to a more regenerative future. And they're very important because with the students, we have basically a lot more brain power to do experiments, to do the monitoring, to see how things are changing, but also to think about what can change. And it's really been an amazing way of growing the farm.
Together, the Lighthouse Farms are showing us the solutions that are possible, that are within reach. They show us new permutations that we hadn't thought of before yet, but that are, in a way, a guiding light for others to follow.
Our goal with the Lighthouse Network is that we offer a broad enough diversity of farms that any farmer in any place can look at our farming systems and be inspired by at least one, or by combining multiple components of different ones. And it is this emphasis on diversity and multiple solutions that inspires people to be curious, to ask questions, and to take a closer look.
So as you see, we facilitate research that can help other farms and other communities around the globe to think radically about their systems. But our Lighthouse Farms also reach a lot farther than their fields. They are embedded in a huge global network, engaging with policymakers, with scientists, with civil organizations, advisory services, etc. And within our department, we analyzed this farther-reaching network. And what we found is that 12 farms are much bigger than themselves. In fact, once quantified, this network looks like this. This engagement is to let the guiding light of our Lighthouse network shine.
And that was the premiere of our documentary on the global network of lighthouse farms. Back to our chair case.
Okay, thank you very much, Rogier, Jeroen, and all the other people who came and told their stories in this very inspiring documentary. And we have now half an hour up to a 10:15, at least at Dutch time, half an hour for discussing all kinds of issues. And I assume that we have a lot of participants from Indonesia, what I can see from the list of participants. I am very curious if Uma is there, if you are willing to tell something about the workshop you had this morning with your CRS farmers, and maybe tell what were the highlights of this morning, what you have discussed with your CRS farmers. Is that possible, Uma? Or if Uma is not there, then maybe someone else who have joined the workshop this morning in Indonesia. There's no one?
Hello, using Anto. Hello, using Anto. Sorry. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, sorry. The field situation is a bit different.
Yeah, Uma, we can hear and we
Yeah,
can see
so
you.
in the whole morning, we had a workshop with farmers, and the purpose is to get their insight and their opinion on how we can implement a complex rice system in Malang. And we are inviting two farmers from two areas, one from Lamongan who already implemented this complex rice system to share with them. And then in Malang, they just started this implementation for landscape scale. And now we are trying to understand and also to make a list what they prefer on this complex rice system, which elements and how we can make changes on their farms, and also what actors, stakeholders must be involved in this transformation. So then there will the commitment will be improved in order to get this landscape approach work. So that's the point, and we finish today workshop, and hopefully we can implement it in next few weeks in Malang.
Okay, thanks, Uma. So what issues, what topics are farmers calling? What do they need?
Sorry, I cannot hear.
You were just inventorizing what your farmers were needing for implementing the project successfully. So what are they calling? What are they mentioning? What do they need for their successful implementation of the CRS program?
So today we also sorry, ask them what do they need, and the highest priority is the involvement of a government, of local government, to support them. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, the problem here, some of them still do not know how to take care of like azolla, ducks, and etc. And this will come to a training that we will give through farmer field school, but this time not based on demonstration, only one farm, but we will do it together. So all farmer in the land staff.
Yeah,
So,
okay, thanks. Yeah, fine, fine, Uma. My last question to you is, what can you say, what is the key success factor for your whole CRS program? What is the key issue that makes the CRS a success?
Sorry, a motorbike came and I could not hear.
Okay, I try again. What is the key success factor for your CRS project?
Okay, most of farmer saying about the income and
so
marketing, something related to
yeah.
economic.
Okay,
So
thank you,
if
Uma, for your...
it is profitable for them, then...
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Uma, for your story and from the field. The connection was still okay, we could hear you. Yes, thank you a lot, Uma. Then I would like to invite other lighthouse farmers, maybe also if you could answer that question, that what in your own lighthouse farm was the most successful key factor for success, and maybe also what was your biggest bottleneck to overcome and make your lighthouse farm really working and active. We have 12 lighthouse farms, so for sure there are a few who are willing to share with us what were your own factors for success, your key factors and the key bottlenecks. Who is willing to say something about that?
I can say something. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you are Alfred?
Yes, I'm Alfred from Austria. I'm an organic farmer. And I think the most important thing for me was the willingness to think out of the box, to listen to other stakeholders, to listen to researchers, to students, to the society, to get a bit more open mind. And the most difficult thing is still to get maybe the I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So,
tried
but how were you able then to
not see the problems and more see the opportunities? So maybe that's the reason I don't know about my problems right now.
Yeah. So, but how were you able then to think out of the box and to get your people also on that mental stage that they are thinking out of the box? What was your key activity to achieve that?
Well, I was not trained as a farmer right from the beginning, and I met a lot of people that were not from the farming business, and therefore maybe this gave me the opportunity to not always think like a farmer, but maybe think like an entrepreneur or think as a consumer, and so to understand also the perspective from coming from other people or other parts of the society.
Okay, so thinking from another perspective, that helps you to think out of the box.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay,
And now
thanks,
we get a lot of students on the farm, and therefore we get a lot of new perspective, and we always learn also from them.
Yeah, is that also really helpful to get young, enthusiastic people who also are able or willing, or they think out of the box? Maybe they ask naive questions, but that's the right question, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Alfred. Which other lighthouse farm wants to say something about the key success factors and maybe also the key problems? Who is willing to say something about that? Yes, John. John from Devenish in Ireland. Take the microphone, John.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. Can I just say it's a pleasure to be involved directly with Indonesia, and much that I would love to be there in person, and hopefully we will be there in person.
Yes.
It is great for all 12 of us to share. The beauty, first of all, of the network is we all have excelled in something different. So it's the learning that we do from each other, but the same on our Lighthouse Farm. So even during COVID, we have been doing virtual visits and tours. We do probably 3 a week. And our biggest challenge is actually getting cultural change. Because we're doing something different that is unconventional. When grassland farmers come in to visit us, they say that is a field of weeds, that isn't a field of grass. And when we then go with a spade and we actually dig a field and look at the soil under the multi-species swards, the grass, they can see with their eyes. They can see the plentiful of earthworms. They can see the soil already darkening as carbon is laid down on that. But they also see how settled the cows and the sheep are. And really what they can see then is the biodiversity, the butterflies. We now have partridge, a very rare bird in Ireland now settling in our multi-species swards. So being able to show them, the great thing about a lighthouse is hopefully we are a beacon to put some light on the potential pathway forward. And so we have found by actually getting our fellow farmers standing in the paddocks, actually holding the multi-species swards with the cattle and the sheep around them, something happens in those fields and people go away and say, I can do this. This, all right, it's a more complex system, but I understand this and I see this as the future. And that for us has been the pleasure of being the Lighthouse Farm in Ireland.
Yeah, thanks, John, for your motivating words. Yes, thank you. I just also heard someone from Brazil. Sorry, I can't remember the name anymore, which it was a woman. You were talking about the intelligence of nature. That concept that struck me. I don't know if you are in the meeting, but if you are, can you say something about that? What do you mean, in fact, with the intelligence of nature and how to use it? And how do you use it in Brazil? I'm very curious. Someone from the Brazil Lighthouse Farm Network, can you say something about that?
Okay, so I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Brazil, so I think they're going to watch the recording.
Okay.
But what I can say on behalf of Ana Clara, who you saw in the video here, is that what we're trying to do across all the lighthouse farms and also in Brazil, and also Dr. Uma has shown it in Indonesia, is we're looking at how different components, different crops, different animals in natural systems can work together, and how they can add value to each other in synergy. And sometimes crops and species compete with each other, and sometimes they work together. And what we're trying to learn, first of all, and then recreate, is the synergies that we observe in natural systems, and can we recreate them, but this time using food crops and animals for productivity rather than natural crops. And for example, in Brazil, we're working with Ana Clara and her team. We're working in the Atlantic rainforest, one of the biodiversity hotspots in the world. Now, unfortunately, more than 85% of that rainforest has disappeared due to man-made human activities. And there's only a few fragments left. Now, what we're trying to do with the successional agroforestry systems there is recreate the structure of that rainforest. So 4 canopy layers, frequent and rapid turnover of organic material and organic matter through frequent pruning and mulching. But this time we recreate that rainforest using food crops. fruits and vegetables and other crops. And that what we're aiming for is to get the best of both worlds. So we produce food, and at the same time we help create these corridors, these natural corridors that connect the remaining fragments of the rainforest. Now, that's one example of how we're trying to learn from the natural systems, recreate them, but this time using food crops.
Okay, yes, thanks, Rogier. I understand fully. That's a nice challenge also to see what we can learn from nature. Yes, but that also reminds me on the first farms in Latvia and in Finland. You also used a lot of high technology, and I would like to ask you, the caviar farm and the circular farm in Finland and in Latvia. How do you see the role of then technology in what can we learn from technology as we can also learn from nature? But how do you link these two issues, technology and nature? Mr. Caviar, are you there?
I think Kari is here. I think
Kari was there. Yeah.
Kari, can you come in?
Hello. Yeah, thanks for that question. It's a really good question because technology is a challenge, but it also gives many opportunities. In Palopuro at Knettilä farm, it enables more efficient nutrient recycling. But when we think how we can implement that system on other farms, it's a bit challenge because it requires big investments. And I don't know what to say about that, but it is a challenge, but it gives many opportunities at the same time. And at the Palopuro, as I said, it enables more efficient nutrient recycling and we can, as the same case in Latvia, that we can use the byproducts that we are not using other way, and that way we can produce not only food but also energy, and at the same time we can have a better use of nutrients.
Yeah. So you make the proper use of technology. That's for clear, and improve the natural intelligence or the natural systems that you are based on.
Yeah, and we don't import any new inputs to the system when we produce biogas. We just use local resources more efficiently. So without importing new inputs, we can produce more food, but also energy at the same time.
Yeah, I can also imagine that from the caviar farm, yes, it's caviar that is produced, but of course there is far also more food that is produced on that farm. Caviar is maybe then the product for the elite, but there is also grain and milk and meat that can be that's the food production.
Yeah, on behalf of Latvian farm, I don't know the figures, but I can assume that they produce quite a substantial amount of food.
Yeah. Okay. About Ethiopia, because that's a complete other subject, as the whole catchment area is the topic of research or topic of the project. What if there is someone from the Tigray farm, what can you say about what there in your project is the key success factor? I see Mariana nodding that there is no one from Tigray. No, can someone else say something about that? People who have visited the project, what is the key factor there?
I'm happy to come in unless Lizzie wants to. Lizzie, do you want to come in with your findings from tapestries?
Yeah, okay.
Lizzie here, I think I saw Lizzie here. The filmmaker.
The filmmaker, yes. Yeah, okay, otherwise you, Rogier, you can say also something about it.
Yeah, that catchment is quite remarkable, Kess, and what it stands out at is how people have come together. And when I visited the first time 5 years ago, it's quite a
quite a dramatic entrance when you come to that place, because northern Ethiopia is very dry. It's almost like a moon-like landscape that you drive through. Very deserted, very degraded soils, a lot of erosion. And then suddenly you come to the Atsby catchment, and you come to a cliff, and you enter the catchment, and it's literally this green oasis that stretches before you. And what is the difference between that catchment and the other catchments that surround it? And we looked into that together with our partners. And the answer is, it's how the people have come together to manage the land. So they've come up with bylaws themselves, where the first thing they did was to fence off and avoid grazing of the steep slopes, so that the cows would not graze on the soils that are prone to erosion. That was the first thing they agreed upon. Now, then they had to find another way to get value of these slopes. So together, they invested in honey production, having beehives that produce honey from the flowers on those slopes. And they built a simple honey factory. And when you think of that, that's very clever, because honey is low volume, high value. It doesn't go off. So you only need one truck every year to collect all the honey for your export. And to bring value back to those slopes. The second thing that they did was they built check dams in the gullies to stop the erosion, and the check dams filled the gullies again with new sediment, creating new farmlands. And then they got together on how the community decided together on how they would divide that farmland. And they even thought about the landless farmers who were put in charge of the nursery for all the nursery stock that they would then sell to the other farmers. And it is this coming together where each community member dedicates 1 day every week to community labor, free of charge. 1 day a week they come together for community labor, building check dams, building terraces, fencing off slopes, building the honey factory. That is what set this community apart, and what explains their success in an otherwise barren landscape.
Yeah, thank you, Rogier. That was, yeah. So coming together, that's the key issue there, and finding the proper ways to solve the problems then. Yeah.
And that's what we find across the globe, Kess, is where lighthouse farms have found ways to manage complex systems, but no one can manage a complex system on their own. We need to do that together.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yes, it's now, it's a bit a side issue. In Tigray, there are now many problems. I don't know even how that project can also maybe help to solve these bigger problems in Tigray, but that's maybe out of the scope of this workshop. Or can you say something about it?
It's interesting that you say that. We've just got a PhD candidate from Tigray starting on this very topic. How, because the area has been ravaged by war, has been destroyed by war. There are serious food security issues at the moment. And he will be looking into his own community and how can we rebuild these systems with the minimum resources that are available.
Yeah, that's nice, Rogier. Well, since you are
in the chat, Kess.
Yeah, I saw the question. Yes, that's a question of Ito Fernando. You were asking about the CRS, and you were wondering if the CRS, the complex rice system, UMA, what you are developing, if that is also applicable throughout the world in different geographical regions and different climates. Maybe Uma, can you say something about that? Can your system also be applied in other rice systems in the world?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I saw some videos from Spain and France. They also applied this rice duct system. And in Japan, China, Thailand as well. I visited this complex rice system. So I think the concept is universal, but then they also need to adapt to the local condition.
Unfortunately, we cannot adapt your system in Holland, or are you also having ideas to do that?
Sorry again?
That we can apply your CRS system also in Holland.
Yeah, who knows?
But then not with rice, but maybe with other crops.
Probably you have a lot of water there. Maybe you can have other water plants. I don't know.
Well, in fact, we do also in Holland. The Tilia species are also a promising commercial crop. Tilia, and they produce all kinds of fiber for isolation material. So it's not rice, it's not edible, but we also need, of course, products to build our houses in a sustainable future. Okay, so it's applicable everywhere, but you have to adapt, of course, the main principles of your CRS, your complex rice system. I like to ask also Jeroen. Jeroen, you are sitting now besides Rogier, and you told the story about Sikkim. What there is the key success factor, since you have been there many times in Sikkim?
Yeah, thank you, Kess, for this question. Yes, I think that an essential point in Sikkim is the collaboration that is there. It is a bottom-up initiative from the women in communities that were seeking for collaboration with scientists, and they really engaged, and together also with the extension services, with research institutes, with local governments, and with the extension agency, the KVK in India. They basically built a big collaboration. When you look at the farms, they have been trying many different ideas. And we saw it also in the movie, all kind of different improvements, enhancements in the farm, trying also to link the different components. So looking at livestock, looking at crops, looking at irrigation, crop protection. And so what you also see there is a lot of diversity within the different farms and also within the research field. They're also trying all kind of different species and also relationships between the different components in the system. Another important part is, I think, the link to market. And because the whole state of Sikkim has made a transition to organic, that also, of course, created some difficulties. It's because the environment is quite moist. There is a lot of overcast, so the sunshine is not so many hours in a year. So cereals are difficult to grow without fungicides in particular. So there was a big transition to vegetables, high-value crops, and also spices. And also the link to markets was important. So I think there's a couple of critical factors that together made this transition possible.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jeroen. Thanks, Jeroen. Yes. So we still have a few minutes more. I like to give the opportunity also for the public, especially maybe from, I suppose there are a lot of Indonesian students also joining this Zoom session. Are there questions from your side? What was inspiring for you when you were watching all these videos? What would you like to tell us? What moved you? What was inspiring for you? Yeah, I hear some background noise. Someone from Indonesia, because most of the participants in this session are for Indonesia, I think. What was inspiring for you? No inspiration? There should be some inspiration. Yeah, otherwise, is there anyone else who has still a question or a remark or what you like to share with us? No, because, well, then I would, as a summary, what my harvest from this half an hour discussing, then I would say, yes, we need government support for all our nice projects. And of course, that is very relevant. Otherwise, we do not have the impact which we wish. We can have a nice impact on farm level, but we should also have impact on government level, and that government support is very needed. We need a lot of nice technical innovations and knowledge about it, like Uma said about growing of Azolla. That's maybe an out-of-the-box idea, but it's the new innovations that we need, or what I hear from the Brazil, the chop and drop system, and new technologies we need, and all the technologies which we see in the Scandinavian farms. That technology is really very helpful to get real sustainable systems. And what I hear talking from Alfred and from the Ireland Lighthouse Farm, the out-of-the-box thinking, how to create it, how to get out-of-the-box ideas. It's difficult. It's difficult. And cultural change, I was hearing also from John, that how to facilitate cultural change. Of course, innovations are helping for cultural change. But, well, there should also be an MSc course in out-of-the-box thinking, because we need it to solve our problems which we are facing. And then the nature intelligence was mentioned as an example, how nature is organized and how we can use it as our guide and study how relations are formed in nature and how we can mimic them in farming systems. And then the last thing, which many of you said, that we should come together and creating a relaxed atmosphere and having the place to feel free also to think and to get these out-of-the-box ideas. So thank you all for contributing to this discussion. And I think we have a break now. It's 10:15, 10:16, or what would the Indonesian host, what are you proposing? Shall we break for 10 minutes and after that we continue the program? Yeah?
Okay, thank you so much for...
Okay, so I propose we break for 10 minutes.
Yes, okay, thank you so much for the great presentation and also discussion from Global Network Lighthouse Farm members. Thank you so much, Mr. Kess van Veluw.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did it with a lot of pleasure.
Okay, so let's move to the next agenda. So we will show you a video, a documentary video of the recent conditions of our farming rice field. I'm sorry. So this video will show you the recent actual condition of the field that our farmers provide the healthy ecosystem to support the rice farming system, especially in Malang Regency, East Java, Indonesia.
So maybe I can give some comments on what we are seeing at the moment. We see these ducks in the complex, in the rice fields of Uma, and you see them grazing and eating slugs and snails and damaging insects. And what we see here is the bunds around the rice fields that are also used for growing crops and leafy vegetables, especially. That's what I saw. The azolla I did not see, but okay.
Yeah.
That's it, I think.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kess, for the explanation. So the video is the actual conditions of our rice field in the Malang Regency, East Java, Indonesia. Okay, so before we step up to the award ceremony, so we will have a break for 10 minutes. And then after that, we will come back to the seminar to announce about the award ceremony. And then for Boma, maybe we can prepare about the handover certificate to the farmers for the award ceremony. So we will come back again after 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the international seminar. Now we move to the next agenda, is the award ceremony. So the award ceremony will be announced by Professor Rogier, and then it will be followed by certificate handover to the farmers by Mrs. Uma Humairo. So Professor Rogier, okay, time is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, we will do this jointly, Dr. Jeroen and myself. And we're greatly honored to be part of this award ceremony, not only to link to our lighthouse farms in Indonesia, but also actually be able to participate in this award of the best of the best of the best. So we have in third place for best complex rice system, we have not one farmer, but we actually have three. We have three numbers three. And the first number three farmer that has won the award is, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Papa Hassan and Ibu Kasmintun. Uma, are they with you, Dr. Uma?
Done?
Okay. Uma, we can't see you anymore, but there you are. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Very good. Dr. Jeroen.
Yes. The second number three is Bapak Kasyanto and Ibu Suliati.
Yes.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Now the third number three is Papa Sachim and Ibu Tining. Congratulations and well done.
And now, in the second place, Bapak Wari and Ibu Sati.
Well done. Congratulations. Now, in first place, the final first place, and maybe we invite everyone here to put all our cameras on so we can all applaud the number one winner of the Lighthouse amongst lighthouse farmers in Indonesia, and that is Bapak Rawi and Ibu Suwani. Congratulations. Wow. That looks amazing, and congratulations for this achievement. And we see congratulations on the screen, and you see here a reminder of the complex rice systems that we have in the office that reminds us of your success every day. Back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Professor, for the award ceremony. So congratulations once again to all the farmers who get the awards. And we hope that it will be the motivations for you to keep improving the breakthrough to our rice farming system, especially here in Indonesia. Okay, so we go to almost to the end of the seminar today. But before we end the seminar, I will invite all of you to turn on the camera so we can take some photos together. So I will invite all the participants to turn on the camera so we can do some documentations by take some pictures together. Okay, so we will start to capture the photo. So I will count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Next. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Maybe we can do freestyle together. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so I think that's the end of our seminar today.
Farmers say hello to you all.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that's the end of our seminar today. Thank you so much for all the keynote speakers. Thank you so much for the Global Network Lighthouse Farm members, and also to the farming system ecology members, the Wageningen University and Research, and also the participant from Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya. Thank you so much for joining today. And I just want to remind you to don't forget to fill the attendance list because it will relate to the certificate that we will send it to your email address. So thank you so much once again for joining today's seminars. Thank you for the kind attention. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and good morning. Thank you.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Selamat datang di kantor urusan hubungan internasional Fakultas Pertanian Universitas Brawijaya atau IRO-FP. IRO-FP mengemban tugas untuk membantu pengelolaan kegiatan-kegiatan internasional di lingkungan Fakultas Pertanian dengan tetap mengacu pada ruang lingkup Tridharma perguruan tinggi, yaitu pendidikan, penelitian, dan pengabdian masyarakat dalam perspektif global.
Pada bidang pendidikan, IRO memfasilitasi kegiatan-kegiatan internasional seperti program 3-in-1 dengan konsep pengajaran yang melibatkan dosen asing dan dosen praktisi.
It has been a pleasure to visit the Faculty of Agriculture of Universitas Brawijaya, especially for student events, and I'm also looking forward to attend more of these events in the future, but also to collaborate on research and project implementation.
Pada bidang pendidikan ini, IRO juga memfasilitasi program pertukaran mahasiswa dengan transfer kredit. Misalkan dengan Universitas Raja Manggala Thailand dan Universitas Miyazaki. Lebih lanjut, untuk program pertukaran magang dan penelitian mahasiswa secara internasional, baik inbound maupun outbound, saat ini IRO FPUB telah dan sedang memperkuat kerjasama dengan IRRI Philippines, EarthNet Thailand, Universitas Ifugao Philippines, Vietnam National University of Agriculture, FEO, Regenerative Academy Spanyol, Universitas Wageningen Belanda dan Universitas Coventry Inggris di bawah payung program Joint International Supervision.
Greetings from Michigan in the United States. I had the opportunity to visit the Faculty of Agriculture at Brawijaya University, where we were able to exchange research experiences with students and staff. I really hope that we'll be able to do so again in the near future.
Pertukaran juga dilakukan antar staf, baik sebagai penguji, peneliti, dan pengajar, misalkan dengan Universitas Wageningen Belanda. Hasil kerjasama penelitian tersebut telah banyak menghasilkan publikasi internasional yang dimuat dalam jurnal-jurnal internasional bereputasi, misalkan di Nature. Hasil kerjasama penelitian internasional tersebut juga telah diterapkan dalam bentuk pengabdian masyarakat kepada petani di Jawa Timur, yang dikoordinir oleh Fakultas Pertanian sebagai anggota dari Global Lighthouse Farm Networking dengan keunikan sistem pertanian organiknya. Kegiatan pengabdian internasional ini telah dipublikasikan pada koran, majalah, dan situs-situs internet di Eropa. Kedepannya, IROFP masih terus meningkatkan kegiatan-kegiatan internasional yang strategis. Salah satunya Joint Supervision yang dapat menjadi penggerak internasionalisasi di bidang pendidikan, penelitian, dan pengabdian masyarakat.
Greetings from Wageningen, the Netherlands. Together with colleagues, I visited the Faculty of Agriculture of the University of Brawijaya last year. It was great to meet the complex rice system farmers in East Java and to share research experience with students and staff of the University of Brawijaya. We look forward to strengthen our collaboration between Brawijaya and the global network of lighthouse farms.